welcome to Reinvent and Rise, the show that I dedicate to people that I call risers. Those are my women, 45 plus, who are determined to do whatever it is they need to do to elevate both personally and professionally to get the things that they desire to have in life. That's just it, just that simple. The show talks about finances and health and lifestyle, to name a few. But we bring it all from the prime perspective for those of us 45 plus, the things that we're concerned about. And today I'm excited because I am continuing what we did in the last show. I'm bringing together some women who were a part of Sean Fair's Leadership Experience Tour so that you can see what it is that they're doing and you can appreciate and understand how they're elevating from one level to the next. For many of them, this was their dream. And here we go, taking advantage of it. Excuse me, I don't know where that came from. So I want to bring on and help me please to welcome Karen Dodd. And I also have Lisa Jones with me today. Hello, ladies. Thanks so much for joining me.
Hi, Alita. How are you doing?
I'm doing great. You doing?
Hello.
I'm happy to have you ladies here with me. And we are fresh off the Sean Fair Leadership Experience Tour.
Yes.
And it was
Yes.
the experience of a lifetime. Am I right?
Yes, it was. Always is.
Always is. Always is. Well, let me start. First of all, I want to introduce you. So, first up, I'm going to tell you a little bit about Karen. Karen is the owner of His Designs LLC and the creator of the Ruby Girl brand, which is inspired by Proverbs 31:10. Who can find a virtuous woman for her price is far above the price of a ruby. The Ruby Girl brand was created to reset women's mind from victim to victor. Kay, as she is affectionately known, is an ordained minister who loves to empower women with words of faith and encouragement. She's the founder of Who Loves to Empower Women with Words. I'm sorry, she is the founder of a business group named Step It Up, which is focused on building their businesses to $1 million status. Her Bible study support group is called Saved Intelligent Sisters, which was started by her more than 10 years ago. Again, help me in welcoming Karen.
Thank you. Thank you so much.
Absolutely. We also have Lisa Jones with us today. Now, she is the proud CCO, Chief Caring Officer of I Care Leadership LLC. With decades of successful leadership experience, Lisa supports professional aspiring women leaders within their first 3 years of leadership to cultivate authentic relationships to empower, all while transforming and humanizing the employee experience. Lisa is also a John Maxwell certified coach, trainer, and speaker, and best selling author of Courageous Women Find Strength During the Storm. With decades of successful and professional leadership experience, Lisa knows that people do not care how much you know until they know how much you care. Lisa, thank you for joining me.
It's my pleasure. Thank you for having me.
Absolutely.
And along
Absolutely.
with my sister Kay.
Yes.
Such
Yes.
a blessing.
Absolutely. In case you guys didn't catch on to it in the last recording that we did, the leadership fair truly turned into a family experience. We developed
Mhm.
relationships that we will indeed nurture for years and years to come. And that was just
Absolutely.
one of the perks of being a part of the program. So, what I want to start our broadcast out, I want to start by talking about the Leadership Experience Tour. And I'll start with you, Karen. Tell me a little about why it is that you decided to do the tour. What has this experience accomplished for you?
I decided to do the tour because I wanted to step out my comfort zone.
Mm,
I wanted to do something different, and I just felt a pull that this was the right thing to do. And so, since I've done it actually twice, it has been amazing. I have connected with so many people. I've gained so many resources. And when I tell you, it has been a life changing experience for me. Every time I walked up the stage, it was something I left there that I didn't need. It's amazing.
It is, and it's true. I'm listening to what you're saying about walking off the stage. And there are a number of things that we do till we get to the stage. And so the culmination of that and being able to walk away, you feel like you really, really accomplished something major, don't you?
Yes.
You
Absolutely.
know, is well, we did,
Yeah.
let's just be honest. We learned so much in getting up to the stage, tools of the trade that will help us to further and getting our voice out there, which is what everybody who was there, they have a mantra for actually having or wanting to get their voice out there so that people who need to hear what it is they have to say will be blessed by what we deliver when we go up. So that was just a beautiful piece of it all. Just the whole accomplishment piece of it was awesome.
It was. I
It
mean,
was.
I can't even find words to really describe how amazing it was. The people that worked with us, they were patient, they were
Yes.
professional, and they wanted you to win. The whole atmosphere was a win atmosphere. It wasn't competitive at all. It was like
No.
we were rooting for everybody. We want if you do good, then we're great together. And I loved it.
Exactly. Exactly. We were in it for one another. It just
Yes.
wasn't a me thing. It was a group thing. And we all wanted to give our best, which is what I loved. We were doing our best for one another and for the people that we were speaking to.
Yes.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Now, what about you, Lisa? Tell us, why you decided to be a part of the tour. And I think, is this your second time also?
This was my second time. I was
Yeah.
invited back as well. So,
Awesome.
one day I received this call from this guy, Sean Fair. And then I said, or this message, and who is this? Who is this Sean Fair? And after speaking with him on the phone, it was a no brainer
Yeah.
that I knew that he had something that I wanted to attach myself to, his brand. And
Mhm.
not only that, just the mere fact that he was so convincing that he would help really bring that speaker out of me
Yes.
and help me find that voice, that I said, you know what? Why not?
Yeah.
Why not? I'm going to take a chance at this, and I am going to, it's something that I wanted to do. I wanted to, get on more stages, and I also had on my, my board that, one day I'm going to meet Les Brown. One day, ever since I was a little girl, that was coming up. So then I was like, well, okay, well, at least if I at least learn how to get on the stages and be a bit more presentable in that aspect, the opportunity may present itself.
Uh,
Although I was used to training, I'm used to being on the stage for leadership, for work, and helping the leaders all around the country. And
right.
it's more or less from a virtual aspect. I knew that being connected with Sean and his genuineness of what he was offering and his all of what he brings to the table, I knew that I could learn something from him, and I was open to learn. At that time I was open to the opportunity. So when you're open to it, it presents itself. And it
Yeah.
presented itself one day in Sean Fair out of nowhere, but we know it wasn't out of nowhere, right?
Oh, yeah.
It
Right.
was providential.
Bill.
It was meant to be. I prayed about it, and there he was. So someone had referred me to him. He called, I answered, and the rest is history.
And you're right. And the rest is history. And
Yeah.
you will never be the same. I mean, let's
Yeah.
face it. You have that feeling when you walk away. You know that you've really gained something when
Yes.
you walk off that stage
Yes.
and all of the information and the materials and the tools and the training that you get leading up to it. You know that you have basically gotten something that you're going to use for a lifetime.
Yes. Outstanding coaching,
Yeah.
outstanding professional, team, the people that he have surrounded himself with. has just really been remarkable. Ray and, the audiovisual team, the best
Everybody.
photographer, in the United States. He just didn't pull any punches. He didn't take any
No,
shortcuts,
we didn't.
and noticing that when I saw Emma, going to be on, I said, what? When I
Yeah.
saw the photographer, I didn't know much about the audio visual, but now I am amazed at who he has, Larry,
Oh
as his,
no.
audio visual, and it's just amazing, just outstanding. Then brand specialists such as Ray and Marcus,
Yeah.
and then Jean, they're giving all of the feedback, and they give it so so willingly is
Right.
what I love about it. So yeah, they're really there to shape your brand, to really do what they promise, and they deliver.
Absolutely. They have a real heart for it. You can
There you
tell.
go.
They have
Yes,
a heart for it,
it is. It
So,
is.
and when you have a heart for something like we do with speaking,
Yes.
it comes a little more easily than something that you have to force. And
Yes.
the fact that they want to help people in perfecting that craft is
Absolutely.
something that definitely shines forth strongly in everything that they do and everything that they did in getting us to that point. Ladies, I talk to, like I said, I call my audience my risers. And you two are risers. And that's one of the reasons why I asked you guys to come on the show. And I want to inspire them. And that's the reason why I had people from the tour to come on to show my audience, you know what? We come from all different sectors, we talk about different things, but we have a dream. And it's not, we get so caught up in the twos. It's too late, I'm too set in my ways.
Mm,
I'm too close to retirement now, I've been in the house too long, you name it. And we come up with these excuses. But this is to show my risers that you can go out there and you can do whatever it is that you decide that you want to do. There's no such thing as a to anything. Now is the time. And
yes.
so, we are in an interesting part of our journey. And so, tell me a little about why it's important for you to pursue the things that you're pursuing now in your journey. Speaking may just be one part of it, it could be all of it. But what are some of the things that you are pursuing now? And, why is that important to you? And Karen, we'll start with you on that.
Okay, I'm first up
You're
again.
first up.
So it's important to me because now that I know I'm in the later of my life, I'm
Mm,
more mature and I'm more conscious of time.
yeah.
I understand I have less time, less God's grace really kick in real strong with me than I had in the beginning of my life. And so now that I'm more mature and I've had all these experiences, I'm woke to opportunities. I'm open to opportunities. And the only tool that I have is not an excuse, but to do. And so I
Mm.
know that this
Ah,
year,
I love that.
2022, is the year to do. It's of discipline and obedience. So I'm looking for as much things that I could do as possible. And you're not too old. Now, if you're in a job, you can be too old in your job for some things, but when it's your business, you're not
Yeah.
too old because your business is always progressing you and
Yeah.
changing you. No matter what knowledge you have in your business, it's never obsolete. But on your job, it can be obsolete
Mm,
because your job moves so fast. But in your business, you're moving at your own pace and you being led by God. God knows how to accelerate you, God knows how
yes.
to slow you down. And so,
Yes.
like when you get mature at over 45, you don't have time for mess. You understand that
Ah,
destiny is now. The excuses you had, you can't use those excuses anymore
yes.
because if God be for you, who's going to be against you? Nobody. And so once you hit that over 45, you should be walking strongly in your faith based upon what God has done for you in your past. So that's why
Absolutely.
I'm moving forward.
Ah, I love that.
Amen.
You said
Yes.
the only 2 I have is to do. I'm using that.
It's a t-shirt.
I'm using that. There you go. I had to get the shirt. The only
Yes.
2 I have is to do. And I always tell my viewers, right now I want your focus to be on making your latter, better than the former. It's not as though, oh, I'm getting older and there's nothing else. Oh, I need to settle down. No, indeed. This is the time to go after those dreams. the time that you finally kind of focus in on you. Am I right, Lisa?
Absolutely,
Yeah.
absolutely. And like, hey, I became unapologetic about everything that I am and all that God has created me to be. And
Yeah.
this boldness rose up in me, once I became 40 and 45, and it just gets more and more prevalent.
Yeah.
The older I get, the more mature that I get. But I never really sought out, although I love speakers. I never really sought out to be a speaker, to be on the big stage and do all of that. That was God's plan that He,
Yes.
just kind of, put in there. But we know it was already done well before the beginning of time. So
Yes.
I'm more of the one who does the research. I like to then present the information to people. I'm a teacher by heart. I'm
Mm,
a trainer. These are things that I love to do. But then the Lord started showing me, but I need you to hit an audience, more people at one
mm,
time.
mm.
And that's where, and then as a minister, you're studying the word to deliver the message. All of that is just part of my innate gifting to be a teacher, instructor, to give guidance, to share whatever I've learned, and then to impart that onto others. Well, then God said, well, I have a little bit more in store for you for this. I need you to be on the bigger stage to spread the message a little further. Not only that, I am at the age where it is now time for retirement in the
Yeah.
next 5 years. And I didn't want to be the one of those people who are just sitting around and wondering what's next. You could travel all over the world and live, different places. And who says that I'm not going to do that? But what I wanted to do was set myself up for retirement to really do the things that I love doing. That's speaking, that's coaching, that's training, that's imparting knowledge, that's doing all of those things while getting paid. One of the things I realized, it is perfectly okay to make a difference and a dollar. And it
Yes.
just makes sense, okay, to do
Difference
so.
in
Yes.
the dollar.
So I am not afraid of making money. I am not afraid of the wealth. I am not afraid of, what my clients pay me and those who will continue to invest. Okay, I should say it's an investment in me. Okay,
Yes.
so
Yes.
yeah, no, I'm unapologetic about making a difference in a dollar. Okay,
Yes.
so let's be
That's
clear.
right.
And I wanted that my retirement, time to be that where I'm not just getting out there and learning how to get on the
Mm,
stages or what have you at the time. Now, if there is anyone who is at this point of retirement and you are, don't let that stop you. Now is the
right.
time. Today, make today your January 1st that you want to rise up and do it. Don't say, you know what, I wish I had done like her and, did it 5 years ago. Mm-mm. And if you've already retired or if you've been retired for 4 or 5, 10 years, and this is something you want to do, pull out that energetic child in you and
Yes.
do it. Do it.
Yes.
Yeah, today. I always tell people January 1st on the calendar may have passed, but anytime you want a January 1st, make it today and make it now.
I love that. Make it today. You can start your new year on any day. It doesn't
Any
have
day.
to be January 1st, right?
It doesn't. I'm an apologetic about that too. I press start when it's time.
When it's
Okay. It could be
needed.
July 20th. Today is my January 1st.
There you go.
In
I
Michigan,
love
and
that.
it is July 20th. My
Right.
January 1st.
Oh, I love it. I
Yeah.
absolutely love it. So, in other words, ladies watching us, there are no twos.
There are
Okay. So,
twos.
put the twos out of your mind. These women serve as prime examples of the things that you can do in your prime. This is prime action right here. All
Yeah.
right. Now, I know, Lisa, you said that you really weren't focused on speaking. Tell me a little about some of the other things that you do. What do you do outside of speaking?
So I'm a coach. So I'm a leadership coach. I do and have mentorship. I'm John Maxwell trained and certified as well as Dale Carnegie. And so coaching, mentorship, all of those things I love doing. I love developing leaders. I've developed leaders all around the world. I work full time for the federal government.
Mm,
And when I first got to the table and I was just in an acting role, well, I was the only one of my gender and my color. And then I thought, well, this can't go on any further. Well, if I
Mm-hmm.
have the opportunity to come to this table permanently, then I know how God is going to use me.
Yeah.
And 6 months later, an opportunity opened up, and I then sat at that leadership table. And let me tell you, it has been a wonderful, wonderful thing to see my team members sitting around the leadership table with me. And now some who are branched off all over the United States of America in all different positions of power. But
Mm,
I have, it is just such a beautiful thing. So I love leadership. I love empowering others. That whole cultivate authentic relationships to empower is something that I live and embody. I tell leaders all the time, it's not enough for you to just care for those in your care as well, but also to care for yourselves. So I promote leadership self-care as well,
yes.
and walk with leaders in that journey of doing that. Other than that, I am G Ma to my God grandchildren. I am Ma to my son, my only son. And, I'm a minister also in the gospel, and just love. And I'm also a beauty consultant with one of the
Awesome.
cosmetic companies. I don't know if I can say it here, but yes,
Sure.
Mary Kay Cosmetics.
There you go.
So my whole goal in leadership is to help leaders, is to walk alongside. I would like to say help, but to walk alongside and support leaders in leading well, looking well, and living well.
Uh,
Love
rich.
it.
Okay. Just rich. Just a rich life that you're leading. And just the way you're talking about it, I can tell that all of these things bring you so much joy.
They do. I
And
just absolutely love it. I
yeah.
do.
And that's what we want. We want at this stage in our lives. I often talk about the fact that we've been putting ourselves on the back burner for too long,
Yes.
and we're sacrificing our joy, our happiness, is what I want to call it more so than joy, because I think joy comes from somewhere else. I think the joy of the Lord, that's when I think of joy, but our happiness definitely, we've been putting on the back burner,
Hmm.
and we've been concerned with making everybody else happy.
Yeah.
So, and we feel a certain sense of accomplishment too once, we're empty nesters now, or, we don't have tuition to pay anymore. And it's like, okay, I deserve to be able to spend some time on me now and perfect
Yes.
those things that I want to perfect, you know?
Absolutely, absolutely. And that's where, years ago, and I, was in a marriage that, where I wore a mask for a long time.
Mm,
And once I took that mask off, I vowed that I would never put it back on.
mm,
I would never put it back on, and that I would live out my true purpose. Don't get me wrong. My ex-husband, my late ex-husband, and I remain very good friends. So that's a nugget right there, ladies, that you
yes.
can end a relationship and still realize that common goal. And our common goal was our son and raising him. Of course, he never got the benefit of having divorced parents, because we were always so connected in his well-being, which is
Oh,
where we needed to be. But
yes.
I wore a mask in that, and I vowed that once that mask came off, I would never put it back on. And I would be so unapologetic about walking in my purpose on purpose, that watch out, okay? Because
Right, right.
if you're not with me, you push me or pull me, but get out my way.
Right, exactly, exactly. Don't hinder me,
Don't hinder me. You're either gonna push me or pull me, but
but don't
otherwise get
hinder
out of
me.
my way, because I'm coming through like a somebody told me, they said, Lisa, you sound like one of those racehorses that was just waiting at the gate, ready to come out. And it was like when
Let
your
it take
mask
off.
came off, was like the gate being lifted.
Yes,
And you just took off and you're still running. You better believe it. I
yes.
am.
Good for you. And that's how we have to do. We
Yes,
have to always be ready, willing, and just in the tunnel, ready to take off and run. Basically, that's
exactly.
how we need to view things. What
Now, life
about
kept
you?
happening too. Life kept
Yeah.
happening. Stage 3 cervical cancer and no symptoms.
Mm,
Life kept happening. My mother passing, life kept happening. My
yeah.
father passing, life kept happening. But you know what? The two. And I guess my girlfriend said it best. The only thing to do is to do it,
Is
right?
to do it.
To do it.
Absolutely. Isn't that right, Kate?
Move forward.
Yes.
Keep doing it. Keep doing
Mhm.
Keep
it.
doing it.
So what about you, Karen? What are some of the things that, that you're doing right now in this journey? What, and other than speaking, are there some other things that you're doing? I see that Ruby girl behind you, so I know about a few things.
Yes.
Well, do we have time? No,
Yeah.
just kidding, just kidding. So let me go down the list. Okay.
Okay.
So my brand is Ruby Girl, and
Yeah.
as you introduced it, it comes from Proverbs 31:10. So I am passionately pushing it and getting women to be empowered enough to know that they can just reset their minds, and once they do that, their whole life will change. Because I know
Yes.
personally how I had to reset my mind when I developed the Ruby Girl brand. I had to become the Ruby Girl. I had to become that Ruby Girl that had overcome a lot of things in her past. I had to become that Ruby girl that was confident to know that God was for her. And I
Hmm.
had to know that as a Ruby girl, that I had to touch the lives of other women. So I sell
Yes.
t-shirts, hats and totes, a lot of merchandise connected to Ruby Girl. Then I have a Ruby Girl boutique where I
Oh,
sell clothes, but I'm about to revamp it because I'm about to start my own clothing line. It's been in my mind,
Yes.
it's been in my
Yes, it
heart for the
is.
longest. And so I'm
awesome.
about to start
Yes.
working on my own clothing line. I have a lot of unique ideas and I'm like, it's time. Then I sell paparazzi jewelry.
Okay.
So I sell that too. Then I have my own talk show. I don't know if I can mention it.
You sure can.
Okay, it's Ruby Girl Talk. So I have that also. So I have a lot of things that I'm
Yeah.
doing because when you have a millionaire mindset, millionaires don't stop with one thing. They do
Oh,
multiple things because
say
they
that.
Yes, they want multiple streams of income, and then they know if this don't work, this over here might work. So it's just like fishing. As
That's
many
right.
rods you have in the water, that is how many fish you can catch. If you got one rod, you only catching one fish.
Just
So
that
I
one.
believe in catching all the fish in the sea. But I am here to say, ladies, I want to empower you. I want you to become a Ruby girl. Because when I put on my Ruby girl shirt, I feel like Superman used to put on his cape. That's how I
Yeah.
feel when I put on my shirt. That I can
Just
do
the
any
Yes.
and
one.
everything. Everything is behind me.
That is awesome. And it's so, I'm listening to both of you, and you're talking about it's not like you're focused in on one thing.
Mm-mm.
And gone are the days when people call you scatterbrain because you're not looking at one thing.
It's
And I
very
don't
strategic.
believe, yeah, I don't believe that we're all linear. There may be some people who are linear. We're just going to focus on that one thing.
Hmm.
But many of us, as Brene Brown, I'm sorry, as her name escapes me right now, but she talks about Elizabeth Gilbert. She talks about hummingbirds, and I determined after hearing that, that gave a name to me that I could put on who I am.
Mm.
Because you don't look at one thing, you go and pollinate in different areas and then watch how you beautify the world in all that you offer. So
Yes.
gone are the days of feeling bad because you're thinking about more than one thing in life. And I think early in life, it may have been like that for some of us growing up.
Mm.
And in are the days of focusing on the things that you want. Maybe you want to try something out. Now's the time.
It
Now is
is.
the
I,
time.
I
And
think
be
so.
Yes.
empowered to
January
know that you
1st,
can
right
do
now.
January 1st.
January
Today
Reset
1st.
is your
button.
beginning of the year. Be empowered to know that you can go out and do those things. That's what these
Absolutely.
ladies, are telling you. That's what the ladies right before them told you too, as we did the other broadcast. So, this has been so, so rich. I cannot thank
Thank
you ladies
you.
enough for being with me here. But of course, before I let you go, you have to tell us if you have anything that you're offering right now and how we can get in touch with you. So we'll switch it up a little this time, Karen. Instead of going with Chris, let's go with Lisa.
Hey, it's on you,
Yes,
Lisa.
it's okay. Wonderful.
Yeah.
Listen, you can always have a discovery session with me. I love meeting new people. And I love sitting down to hear where people are and how I can journey with you in getting you to your next level. I'm here to just pivot. I'm not here to make sure that anything else happens other than you seeing that there is another way. And
Yeah.
sometimes people get stuck in that. Sometimes people go, I think, I'm not sure. That's what you sit down with a coach to do. That
Mm,
coach is your thought partner. And
yeah.
what we do when we are as your thought partner is help you get those thoughts out and then line them up. I am very strategic in what I'm doing. I really am. I say no to many opportunities that do not align with what I am doing and what I'm called to do. My
Mm,
whole purpose in ministry is to bring peace, but then also for me and coaching is to really help those leaders get on the path that they need to go on to make sure that they can be the most effective in their job, in their maximizing their leadership influence while cultivating authentic relationships to empower, as well as journeying with them in their self-care success. I never want a leader to be left out of the picture of putting on their mask first before they help someone else put on their mask.
mm.
It can be reached at lisayvettejones.com. Lisa, Lisa, Yvette, Yvette Jones, JONES.com. I'm also on all social media as lisayvettejones.com. And then I can be reached at 1-248-952-8122. That's 1-248-952-8122. Call me for a 30-minute discovery session. You will not be disappointed.
Awesome. Awesome,
Awesome.
Lisa. Awesome.
Thank
And
you.
and to my audience, know that I'm going to put this information in the chat section describing today's broadcast as well. So you'll definitely be able to get to that information written down somewhere. I promise you'll be able to connect with these ladies. Karen, you're up next.
So I just want to say to everybody that me, I'm known as your favorite Ruby girl because why am I known as your favorite Ruby girl? Because I want to see you reinvent it and I want to see you rise to the standard that God has set for his women. Because too many of us have lowered our standards in life. But ladies, this is the season where you can be and do anything that you want to do, that you set
Absolutely.
your mind to. The only limitations you have are the ones that you set for yourself. So I'm not a coach, but I love to hear your story. I love to share with you how I have overcome sexual abuse, how I have overcome rejection to become your favorite Ruby girl. So you can find me at rubygirl.net. There you can find my social media contact. You can send me a form. You can contact me in any kind of way that you want to contact me. So just remember, ladies, that you are rare, you are virtuous, and that you are valuable. And I would love to hear your story. If you just need somebody to listen to you during this time, I would love to listen to you. And I would love to give you the advice that the Lord drops in me so that you can reinvent and you can rise.
Ah,
Wow.
awesome.
That's amazing. And
That
let me tell you, she is an excellent listener. And she says she's not a coach. Mm-mm. Yes, she is. She really is. And
she
no, let me
beg
tell
to
you,
differ.
yes, I beg to differ. And let me tell you, there is nothing more wonderful than putting on my Ruby Girl shirt. I did
Yeah.
laundry today, and then I
Yes.
held up my Ruby Girl shirt. I love it. I have two of them. Okay. So
Yes.
everyone wants to be a Ruby Girl. I promise you, they do.
Thank you,
Absolutely.
Lisa.
You
And I
must check her out.
and I'm sorry, Lisa, I forgot to tell them every Thursday is Ruby Girl Day.
Oh,
So
can't
every
forget that.
Thursday. Yes. And so you can go to rubygirl.net and you can get 15% off Ruby Girl
Oh,
merchandise every Thursday. That's the day to put on your shirt, put on your shelf, your selfie, and show the world how marvelous and how
Yeah.
fantastic you really are.
okay, y'all. So you heard that. Y'all got to go get your shirts and be ready on Thursday. And you know
Yes.
what helps sometimes just to have that reminder every now and then we have to, like, I do mugs all the time that have inspirational messages on them just
Mm.
to remind me of who I am. You need to get your
Amen.
Ruby Girl shirt so you can remember that you're a Proverbs 31 woman. All right.
Listen,
Yes.
she also makes mugs too. So there's
Oh my
nothing that Carrie's not.
goodness. Everything. So you just need to go visit her store.
Yes.
Check it out. Check it out.
Check it
Thank you,
out.
Lisa.
All right. Ladies, this has been so wonderful. Thank you so,
Thank
so much
you.
for being here today.
Thank
I
you.
greatly appreciate it. And I want to
Been a pleasure.
encourage those watching to also hop on over on the podcast. These ladies are going to share just a little more over there with us. But for today, I want to thank you so much for being here and watching this show as we continue to bring you the 45 plus dreamers who are making it happen, y'all, showing you that you too can do it. So go out today, be bold, be audacious, be confidently yourself, knowing that the imprint that you have is the one that we all need and the one that the world is waiting for. you're the answer. All right. Have a great
Right.
one.